You are sitting at a loud party. 20 conversations at once, music, clatter, someone is in front of you talking, and you are locked onto their words completely. Everything else is noise, static, gone. And then it happens. Across the room, you do not turn your head yet, but someone says your name, and you hear it, instantly, perfectly, cut through every other voice like a blade. But here's what should trouble you about that moment. If you truly filtered out all those other conversations, if your brain really threw them away, then your name should have been thrown away with them. It should be impossible for it to reach you. The filter should be absolute, and yet there it was, your name, cutting through the crowd, which means something in you was not filtering at all. Something in you was listening to every single conversation the whole time, waiting, watching, and the instant it found the word that mattered most, it told you. That is the mystery we are untangling today. In 1953, a psychologist named Colin Cherry did something simple and strange. He played one message into a person's left ear and a different message into their right ear. Then he asked them to repeat out loud the message on the left while ignoring the right. Shadowing, he called it. Just follow one voice and ignore the other. People could do it easily, flawlessly. They locked onto one conversation and the other one became nothing but background hum. But then Cherry checked what had actually got through from the ignored ear, and that is where the mystery began. It turned out that people shadowing one message noticed almost nothing about the other. They could tell you if it was a man or a woman speaking. They could tell you it was speech at all, but not a single word, not one word of what it meant. The ignored message could switch into a foreign language mid-sentence. It could be played backwards. Most people never noticed. The filter was working. The unattended voice was being stripped down to raw sound and thrown away before it ever reached meaning. Then, in 1959, a researcher named Moray pushed it harder. He took a single word and repeated it 35 times into the ignored ear. 35 times. The word penetrated nothing. No memory trace at all. The filter held. So here is what the science seemed to show. The unattended stream gets filtered early. You do not hear its meaning. You do not process it. It is gone before it reaches your awareness. Which should make one finding flatly impossible. Moray discovered that when a person's own name was slipped into the ignored ear, about a third of people noticed it. Not most, not all, but enough that it mattered. Their own name jumped out, grabbed their attention, pulled them straight out of the conversation they were focused on. Sit with what that requires. If you are successfully ignoring a stream, if your brain is throwing away its meaning before you ever become aware of it, then there is no way your name should be able to reach you from that stream. And yet it did. For that to happen, some part of your brain must have been fully processing that ignored stream the whole time, analyzing it for meaning, checking every word, asking, is this important to me? Does this matter? And then passing up to your conscious mind only the one word that passed the test. The filter is not at your ears. It never was. It is much deeper than that, and it never stops scanning. Now, here is the honest part, because this is where the science gets complicated. That finding, the name breaking through the filter, launched a decades-long argument among psychologists about where exactly the filter is located. How does it work? Colin Cherry's mentor, Donald Broadbent, proposed early selection filter theory. We block unattended input early, he said. We filter it by its physical features before it ever reaches meaning. That was the model. That was the theory. But the name result contradicted it. If we filter early, by physical features alone, we should not be able to tell if something is important or not. We should not be able to recognize our own name from a voice we are already ignoring. So in 1960, Anne Treisman revised the model. She proposed attenuation theory. We do not fully block the other channels, she said. We turn them down. We reduce them to a lower volume. That way, a highly important word, like your name, can still break through the lowered volume, still reach you. Others argued for late selection entirely. Everything is processed for meaning first, they said, and then the filter comes at the very end. And there is another complication. Not everyone catches their name in these studies. Only about a third do. And whether you are the type who does relates to something called working memory capacity, how much information you can hold and process at once. So the honest version is this. The effect is real. The paradox is real, but the mechanism, the exact way your brain pulls it off, is still genuinely unresolved. What everyone agrees on is the strange core. You process far, far more of the unattended world than you are ever aware of. Now let me turn this onto you directly. You think of your attention as yourself. You assume that what you are aware of is what your mind is doing. You are conscious. You are paying attention. You are thinking. So that must be where the work is happening. That must be your mind at work. This quietly dismantles that assumption. Below the narrow beam of your awareness, a vast, silent process is running at all times. It is hearing every conversation around you, reading every voice for tone and intent and meaning, weighing all of it for relevance, and then handing up to you, to your conscious awareness, only the tiny fraction worth interrupting for. Most of your own mind's work happens in a room you are never allowed into. You think you are the listener. You think you are in control of what you pay attention to, but you are not. You are the one person in the building who gets told, occasionally, what the real listener has found. You are receiving reports. You are getting summaries. You are being shown only what has been filtered and deemed important. And the clearest proof of that is the most personal word you own, your name, cutting through a crowd, delivered by a part of yourself you will never directly meet, a part of you that has been listening the whole time, watching, waiting, knowing exactly when to speak. The next time you hear your name across a room, stop for a second. That was not your ear. That was not your consciousness reaching out and grabbing it. That was something else, something deeper, something that knows you better than you know yourself. It was the listener, and it is always listening.